Hi everyone, it's Alexander Dunlop, and I'm back to teach you the card of the week. This week, the card in play is the Jack of Clubs. And apologies for the earlier signal breakdown on the Wi-Fi, but I think we're up live again. And so I want to talk to you about how to play your cards right this week. So the Jack of Clubs, which you can look up in my book, the meaning of the Jack of Clubs is creative mental production, one of the meanings. So I would encourage you to tap into your own mental creativity this week. Right? Another example expression is brilliant storytelling. Might be a good week to do some marketing, do some sales. You have brilliant storytelling. Now, the reverse of that is also true, is you want to be aware of telling stories in maybe in your personal relationships too, getting lost in stories, being a little too creative with the truth. Another example expression is expansive intelligence. So with that energy that's in play, I would encourage you to trust your good ideas. Trust your insights this week. If you have really good ideas for things you want to do, then you want to honor that and go with that. Don't discount your own intelligence this week. Another example expression is clever wit. So being witty and wise. Again, maybe a little too witty, a little too wise, a little too sharp and cutting with your words. And someone else could be that way too, right? This is the energy that is in play for all of us. So the creative wit or creative exchanges can get, can get a little too close to home, be a little too sensitive as each person tries to be wittier than the other person. So you want to be on the lookout for that and be aware of not trying to just get the last word in. And it becomes argumentative, right? Another example expression is being a jack of all trades and master of none. Right? The Jack of Clubs, so smart, can do anything. You might get lost in too many projects this week. So you want to be aware of trying to wear too many hats. You want to watch out for spreading yourself too thin, which comes from a thought that you can't master what it is you really want to master. So you hedge your bets and you try to do a lot of different things. So you want to be on the lookout for that. Notice any insecurity that might arise. Am I not going to be able to do this? Do I not have what it takes? Maybe there's a thought, I need to learn more. I'm not smart enough. And, this would be something that will block you this week because you think you don't know enough. And so you end up scattering yourself too broadly and you become a jack of all trades but master of none. So another example expression is endless rationalizations. A lot of little white lies, stories that you could tell yourself that you rationalize things instead of holding yourself accountable and taking personal responsibility. So you want to be on the lookout for that this week. How might you be rationalizing something rather than really taking stock of the truth, even when the truth hurts? Or even when the truth means that you need to acknowledge how you maybe did something that was wrong or you hurt someone. So we want to be on the lookout for how we might be rationalizing our behavior this week. Lost in imaginary scenarios. So smart, right, that you can invent stories, a whole science fiction reality, conspiracy theory, or paranoia, a hypothetical situation that you concoct in your own mind. So you want to be on the lookout for that this week. And that's a difficult one to know when you're really lost in it, because if you're really in it, you might think it's true. And in a personal relationship, you may have a whole story in your head about how the other person did something wrong, or you may be basing it on a lot of assumptions that you don't know if it's really true. Right? So what's at stake is to have someone who you trust who can call you out on your BS. That someone who can tell you, listen, you're making that up. That's not really what's going on. Because with this energy present, you can get lost in imaginary scenarios that you dream up in your own mind. So it's important that you have someone to hold you accountable this week, to remind you that you've gone too far and you're not grounded in reality anymore. Someone to bring you back to reality. All right. At the same time, however, you want to be on the lookout for know-it-all argumentative pride. What are you talking about? That's not imaginary. It's real. Don't tell me I'm wrong. It's a paradox. It's a real thorny one, because you may be too proud to admit that your scenario is an imaginary, hypothetical scenario that's based on assumptions that aren't accurate. So you might argue and get into an argument this week about what's real versus what's false. So you want to be on the lookout for that. And you may even be able to catch yourself in the midst of the argument and realize, oh, I'm having a Jack of Clubs moment where I'm arguing about something that I think is real, and the other person is telling me, no, that's not true. Maybe I can actually step back for a moment and just take another perspective and see, okay, maybe this person has a point. And maybe I can actually shift the way that I'm thinking about what's happening. Right? This is the benefit of having this wonderful tool, is that it can help us shift our reality right in the present moment. Instead of getting swept away in these energy currents, we can actually consciously choose how we would like the situation to play out. I mean, who wants to get lost in an argument? Not me, right? So I leverage this tool to help me break through something that is unpleasant or uncomfortable. Like, oh, okay, what's going on here? Let me see, okay, yes, this energy, the Jack of Clubs, we're arguing about what we think is true. Maybe I can step back and say, listen, it seems like we both have a different perspective of what's true. We're both thinking that we know what's right here. Maybe there is another alternative, or maybe we're both right, but we're just seeing it from a different vantage point. Something like that, to break through the stubborn argumentation. The other thing to watch out for this week, intolerable advice giver. Jack of Clubs is a know-it-all energy. I know what you need. Let me give you some advice. And nobody likes unsolicited advice. So be on the lookout this week for unsolicited advice. The other thing is the end justifies the means mindset. Okay? So be on the lookout for these ethical bendings of the truth. Well, if we just bend that, then it's fine because we're doing something good. The end justifies the means. So you want to be on the lookout for little white lies or bending the rules to suit your own needs. And other people too. Other people may be trying to do that as well. Rather than have clear integrity or transparent integrity, they may try to bend and cover things up. Right? But at the same time, no one wants unsolicited advice. So this is the moment where you decide how you want to interact if you notice that someone else is not being totally honest or totally clear. And that's a real question. Do I just observe it and let that person have their own experience? I can see that they're not in integrity. I can see that they're deceiving themselves. Do I say something? Or do I just let that happen for them so that they play out their own experience. And one of the ways that I do it personally is I will ask someone, I'll say, would you like some advice? Or I can see something that might be helpful for you. Would you like me to tell you? It's very helpful. You ask first if someone wants your opinion. So you can try that out this week. Other things to look out for: an insufferable contrarian. That means always taking the opposite perspective, the devil's advocate position, just because you can. So you want to be on the lookout for that. That's another way of being argumentative. Another example expression is voracious curiosity, like really hungry for the truth and learning. So you may want to learn a lot this week. You may find that you're really eager to educate yourself, and that's wonderful. But just be aware that you don't think you need to know something before you begin, and you may get caught in procrastination because you don't think you know enough. So you're like, I have to learn this before I can do this. Well, maybe not. Maybe you're just using that as a procrastination method. And the last two example expressions that I write are independent self-expression and world-building genius. Good ones. You have a lot of mental power to create the reality the way you want it to be for yourself. You can build your world this week. And so I encourage you to do that, to creatively build your reality as you want it to be. That's a good point, Stephen. The Jack is the number 11, and the number 11 is a double one energy. So the Jack is a double ace energy. So this is my invitation for you this week, to generate the world that you want to live in for yourself. Be a world-building genius. Now, something else I want to point out, for those of you who know the 13 cards in your life path, and this is true for every week, is noticing, for example, the Jack of Clubs in my life path is my Jupiter card for my 13 cards. And the Jupiter is a card of expansion. Jupiter is an energy of expansion and abundance. For my partner Vicky, the Jack of Clubs in her life path is her Venus card. And the Venus is a planet or energy of love, and home, and family. So for her, because the Jack of Clubs is in that position, she can expect more energy of Venus energy in her life this week, like more love, more romance, more family. For me, the Jack of Clubs in Jupiter means more expansion and abundance. So that's what I'm looking for. Could be more financial abundance. Could be just more expansion of my worldview. Wherever the Jack of Clubs lands for you in your life path, you can expect that to play out for you this week. Or maybe the Jack of Clubs doesn't fall in your life path, but maybe last week the 10 of Clubs was a card in your life path. So where these cards land in our life path gives us an additional flavor and context of how the week shows up. Donna, yes, also if it's your personality card, then, for example, someone who has the Jack of Clubs as their personality card, this would mean a week where they get to really shine. Right? Their personality is really big this week, but that could also be too much. Right? Sometimes too much of a good thing can be too much. But their personality will really be on display this week because this is the energy of their personality. So big personality for them this week could be a chance to really shine and play big. If it were my personality week, let's see, what would I would be focused on how I can really shine, I guess. And how I can bring forth my best. And I would want to utilize that energy to consciously bring forth my best that week. So that would be my suggestion. And actually, that is a good affirmation for the Jack of Clubs anyway, so I'm going to write that down. I bring forth my best. I bring forth my best in all that I create. I bring forth my best in all that I create. Take a deep breath. And say that again. I bring forth my best in all that I create. And one more time. I bring forth my best in all that I create. All right, everyone, have a wonderful week, bringing forth the best and creating with your powerful mind your world as you want to experience it. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and I'll talk to you next week at the same time.